Doesn't matter if you're an Indian or if you're a Warhawk.
The ULM mention is the greatest. You'd hope for the best as a ULM fan, but
this is the Bleav in the Warhawks podcast with hosts Dusty Thibodeaux and Chase Regian.
Chase, you always have such great insight.
Tibbs is going to bleep it off.
What are these guys always talking about?
We talk a lot about food on this podcast, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Really, really appreciative of the people and the community and the way that they've backed us up.
Nailed the introduction, by the way. Awesome.
Thanks,
I love
Fish.
it.
Chase, been exciting times on the Bayou. We
Very
played
exciting.
for a ship.
Yeah,
We didn't win it, but we did play for it.
very cool.
Your wife is a former soccer player. Did she even know or care that we were in the championship?
Absolutely, she did. Yeah, we kept up with them. We didn't weren't able to watch it, but we did keep up with them, and she keeps up with them every year. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just making sure. My
She'd be
wife
fine.
was wondering why I was screaming from the bedroom watching the championship game. And to Texas State's credit, their goal that they had was a perfect through ball that the goalie was a little too aggressive for ULM, came out of the box and back of the net.
That goalie's been solid all year. So I mean, to do what Will has done with that team, man, with that soccer program is just incredible to watch, and super proud of how far they went.
I hope he sticks around a little bit longer, gets that one extra game next year.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
you
see.
know. Men's hoops, it tipped off as well. 0-2, but I'll tell you, Chase, watching them, I'm pretty impressed with them. Like they're able to play some pretty solid ball.
Absolutely.
But the thing is that we knew going into it, they have no bigs. They cannot get the second chance points. They can't get the rebounds. But overall, I feel like they're playing pretty good basketball.
Yeah, super great offensive production, and I mean, they led in the first game, and it kind of will catch up to the rebounds defense. But I'm really interested to see how this team looks, and to be honest, I'm just impressed with the threat that they have there on the court.
I just hope that this week's game against Rust College. Do you even know where Rust is? Chase?
Don't know what that is.
I Bleav it's in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
It is a small college. And I just hope, not that I'm in favor of running it up, but I hope we hang 1 billion points on them just to let out some frustrations. Hopefully it gets the ship righted and really gets these guys feeling good about themselves, knowing that they can really go out there and do that to a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
As much as we talked about men's basketball 0-2, the man of the hour, my favorite coach on the Bayou, Scotty Fletcher. He's 2-0, baby.
Yeah.
He represented the conference, getting the win over Eastern Michigan in the SBC MAC Challenge. Maybe more importantly, and a huge win, beat Louisiana Tech, a team that was actually picked to win Conference USA this year. Welcome in, Coach 2-0.
What's up, baby?
Let's go.
Coach, off to a great start this season. I mean, how are you feeling after these 2 games?
Well, horse, number one, which is a good sign. No, man, look, like we talked about before we came on air, the biggest thing, obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out and a huge shout out to our band, our cheerleaders, our Hawk line, the people that came out to both games, but especially a Friday night to end the season, playoff hopes on the line. Friday night, Neville's playing at home. Big matchup with West Monroe was playing as well. So for us to have an electric atmosphere for our girls, I was just so proud to represent the maroon and gold the right way. Our alumni, our fans, our student body, the people that have poured into this place, alumni like no other. And like I've told you, everybody's made me and my wife and my family and our team feel welcome from day one. That's not lip service. But the atmosphere has been electric, and I'm just so happy for everybody and the smiles on everybody's faces and just how everybody's loving our girls, and obviously it helps when you're on the right side of the scoreboard. But you could tell there's a genuine love from everybody here, and it's like I said post game, I'm the luckiest man alive. I feel like I've got the best job in the country, and best people support me here on the Bayou, and it's really been amazing, man.
Well, Coach, when I was watching the game, I was just thinking about, we asked you about some players to look out for, and you talked about Jamani Ingram, and man, she can steal the ball. I don't understand how it works that way. I'm sure you do. No, understand. She's crazy with steals, was a great offensive threat. But with the rest of this team, 2-0, what went right for you in those 2 games?
I just feel like our toughness was on full display, and a lot of times you'll hear teams, and y'all know from your background, but teams normally should take on their personality, identity of their coach. And, I didn't get here, by being, passive, or soft, so to speak, with my life story. And we talked about it on the previous episode, but man, there's a level of toughness. And I've always jokingly said this: nobody's ever looked at me and said, man, I bet he was a bad basketball player. I bet he was good. They thought I was a fullback or a catcher or first baseman or something like that. So there's just a level of toughness in our defense. It starts with our defense, and it's a mindset. And we challenge them each and every single day. 230 days since we've been on the job is just pumping, man, relentless attitude and relentless effort. Your body language has got to be right. The louder you are, the harder you play. So I just felt like our defense and toughness was on full display, and Tech was really well coached. As you said, they've returned a lot of players, the preseason player of the year. Not only were they picked to win the league, and I really think they have a great ball club. I know they do, and they'll win a bunch of games. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do win their league, but their coach did say at the end, I thought this was the ultimate compliment to our players and our program. Said, y'all were just tougher than us tonight. You got a real tough group. And as we all know, as an athlete's perspective, that's the biggest and best compliment you can get from someone, is just how tough you are. And that's a choice, and our girls have bought into that.
As much as things went right, Coach, surely there's some things, and I know you're a perfection type of guy. What went wrong in these games? Because from the outside looking in, I mean, you could kind of nitpick and say, oh, well, they didn't shoot as many threes as maybe they should have, some missed free throws. Where do you see this team needing to really improve to make sure that they're now going 3-0 and then 4-0?
That's a great question. And I think the biggest thing for me, what I've learned, and I'm still learning a lot, but to me, you have a bigger margin of error if you play so hard and you can let your defense create offense. So you don't have to be damn near perfect from the free throw line. You don't have to be perfect from the floor. If you do get out rebounded, you can make up for it in some areas. So your defense has got to create opportunities and offensive opportunities at that. How do you turn them over? Do you get live ball turnovers, or is it a dead ball turnover? Do you get deflections that are in the half court, or are they deflections in the back court? If you look the other night, we got some deflections in the back court, which led to some made baskets from Camille Brown and some of our other players. So getting those deflections in the back court, we were able to score because it was right there at our rim. If you get deflections in the front court, now you've got to go down and execute on the other end. So to me, that's the things that we can improve on, is our execution. Had some silly fouls. We got to get better on the glass, which we've always been really good on the glass. So we worked a lot on that today to make us a better ball club. But the biggest thing is we just had a bigger margin of error, and we've still made some mistakes, but we have valued the ball. And then I just feel like when we've subbed and rotated girls in, we haven't had a huge drop off, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was my question. You played a lot of people. I mean, damn near everybody, right? On your and you talked about how you were going to rotate a lot of people in to give everybody a lot of minutes. And you're going to have to teach me this, Coach, because I know basketball is a little bit different where it doesn't mean as much to start or come off the bench. But did you feel good about that first lineup and your starters there? Are you going to continue to rotate people? How are you going to manage your roster moving forward?
Well, one thing I've always done in the past, which has obviously led us to success and afforded us this opportunity, and we want to stay true to that identity, and if anything, double down. Fortunately, you can only have 5 start, but we do feel like the other night, for example, we scored 40 points from the bench. Well, those 5 girls could obviously start, for a number of schools. So I feel like we're strength in numbers, and that's our strong point, is being able to sub and have fresh legs and continue to attack. And we have a defensive identity, and we have an offensive identity. And we know where we're trying to get the shots, where we're trying to get the ball to, who we're trying to get the ball to. But I always say, when we turn teams over, okay, and it's a numbers game, if we have the advantage, I want us thinking score and get the ball up on the rim, because now we got a chance to get fouled, get an offensive rebound, or do both. So when we get the ball in the half court, now we've got to execute, right? 5-on-5. There's not a better chance to try to give yourself an opportunity. So staying fresh, rotating your roster, plus we recruit to that style of play. So it's beneficial. When I played, my old college coach said, ain't but 8 of y'all going to get minutes. There's only 200 minutes at a game, 40 at each spot. Well, I'm a little different. I want to play 10 to 12 to 13 players each and every night. And I just, like Camille Brown the other night, she goes off 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. It could be anybody's game. And that makes a team tougher to scout, as we all know.
Nakia Mays Prince averaging 11 points to these first 2 games. Coach, you ever listed her at 5'5"? Is she really 5'5"? Because I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I would second that. 6'5" is what she is. 6'5". Just because
definitely plays that way. Definitely plays that way.
No doubt. She got through there the other night, and it's like the Red Sea parted for her. I was like, well, nobody's gonna step up, and then she just extends it like George Gervin, just extending it at the rim. Moses Malone. I'm like, what are we doing?
Big week this week. You got Grambling coming up, picked 5th in the SWAC. Later on, Arkansas Pine Bluff, they were 11th out of the 12-team SWAC. And then Central Baptist, even your non-D1 NAIA, number 4 out of their conference. Coach, you got some good competition. How do you kind of see this week playing out for your team?
Well, I think the most important game on the schedule is the next game, and that's where you got to focus. And you got to focus on us, our improvement, our identity, and staying true to that. And I mean that. That's not lip service. I know that seems like coaches talk, but I really believe that's the way our mindset's always been. Grambling's very tough. They're very scrappy. They're extremely well coached. They're very talented. They play a very similar style of play to us. They've been very efficient and effective of turning teams over. North Texas, SMU, in their first 2 games, they had a big win today. So it's really going to be about doing what we do and controlling the things that we can control. I know, Tibbs, Chase, that seems like coaches talk, but I really do feel like, when you get to a certain point of the season, and even though we're not there yet, but we're learning to get to that point, is really about staying so true to your identity and having the discipline that is required no matter where you play, no matter who your opponent is, because at the end of the day, if you make shots and you get stops and you value the ball and you play to your strength and your identity, making and missing shots shouldn't determine the outcome of the game if you do everything right. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you in football, for example, I'm just going to change and use football, but if you have 3 turnovers, sometimes it's tough to win a game, right? Well, you can have, more 10 plus turnovers and still have a chance to win a game in basketball, as long as you do other areas really well. So I think that's going to be critical for us, is to make sure that we execute our scouting report and our game plan to the best of our ability, and being able to make sure we keep everything starting on the defensive end. And that's where we've started the first 2 games. We've still given up a little bit more points than what I'd like to give up, but we're getting better at that. And this team continues to grow. And you talked about Jamani Ingram earlier and Nakia Mays Prince. I want to piggy on those 2. Just the leadership. Obviously, I know about Jamani, coaching her and been through the fire with her. But Nakia, man, has been an extension of me. Her and Asia Ennis are doing a phenomenal job. You can see that they're very comfortable. I feel like we have a really good system that benefits them and they benefit us. They're an extension of me. They make my job a lot easier, and they're doing a phenomenal job of just facilitating our offense and giving our girls a lot of confidence. And you can see that each and every play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just saw the experience. I think that really stood out to me, was how comfortable everybody looked on the court for the most part. They really felt like they got into a flow. I mean, it's a much different, I've seen some, not recently, but in the past, I've seen some rough ULM women's basketball. And I really was just I was just amazed by how much, we talked about that in our first podcast where you talked about the experience and how invaluable it was. But to see that early, I think was really, really a testament to your, culture setting ways. Coach, I've got a question I've always wanted to ask. Okay. And it's a little bit of a pivot, but it's kind of on the same thing. What does preparation, like preparing a scouting report for these teams, look like, right? Because you play so many games, and football, you watch film for 6 days a week. You don't have that luxury. Do you watch film on yourself more than you watch film on your opponents? Do you how do you create these scouting reports? I kind of want to know what that preparation for these games looks like.
Man, I wish you'd asked me that off there. I'd sell my secret sauce with you. But no, boy, you crazy. Boy, you got me on that one. That's a good one. So,
what I mean, Coach? Like
no,
you playing football, you just watch
Yep.
film all the time. I've always
Yep.
wondered, do you guys, are you just constantly either watching film or coaching?
So I feel like, for me, and I mean this, I think with your team, you've got to make it as simple as possible. Okay. And what I mean by that is, I've been to different practices and programs, and I hope I'm answering your point. I'm going to get a little well-rounded with this, but I've heard people use this fancy terminology. Okay. About when you get in the slot, when you get here, they use all this fancy terminology. And I feel like the way this generation learns is very similar to the way I learned how to play basketball. And so when you're kind of trying to stay young and adjust and adapt, to me, you got to make it as simple as possible, because they're playing and everything's about instincts. So now I'm not thinking, well, when I get here, I'm in the slot, now I got to change my stance. Does that make sense? So for me, I think what we try to do is make it very simple. What did we do bad in that game? So we need to highlight what we could have been better at, whether it's our screening, our timing, our missed blockouts, whatever. We need to highlight that. So we need to clean that up. And you say, okay, that's standard. All right. Now, what did we do really good? So we need to highlight that as well. So if we did things really well, we need to make sure we're highlighting that. Then we look at tendencies from our opponent. Okay, what do they do really good? These are their strengths. Then hopefully we can find some weaknesses. And we try to attack both of those to the best way possible. And then one thing I think that we do a really good job of is in football, let's just say you got 11-0. I don't even know if that's a deal, but I'm just saying we call it dummy offense. Okay. So
We got that.
all right, dummy offense. So Chase, think back to when y'all did dummy offense 11-0. Did y'all go as hard in 11-0 as you did when you were playing?
No.
I want you to answer that. Okay.
No.
So if you came and watched us, okay, and we go 5-0, we're going to go as hard as we can on 5-0, or they're going to line up and run. And I tell them, because if we don't prepare for the best defense out there, even though there's no defense right now 5-0, when we run against that best defense, hopefully our cuts and our timing and our action will be so fast that if their defense is faster than us, hopefully we're 50-50. Okay. So maybe we'll have an advantage. So my point is, I'm giving you some insight. I feel like that's something that we do. So we'll run multiple things and do multiple things back to back to back at such a game speed that when you get in the game, there's not that big slippage. And I think if you don't practice it at the game speed, you're not going to be able to perform at the game speed. And what I mean by that is just making a game shot. So if we're going to get that shot in the game going this speed, and the atmosphere is going to, make us get that much, more higher, if you will, then we need to practice that and practice. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I tried to give a little insight. Like, you have to prepare at game speed. And I just think that's, I don't know, man, it's worked for us, but the walking around, all that little stuff, it drives me bananas. It bothers me like no other. So I think we just try to represent as much game speed reps on both ends of the floor as much as possible.
Chase, quit asking the man for the secret sauce.
I guess I'm sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to. It wasn't a gotcha question. I've always wondered that, to be honest. I'm not trying to get you, dude.
Scotty, he goes into McDonald's and asks, hey, what's in the secret sauce?
I need to go with him on that one then.
So, Coach, it was also a big weekend on the Bayou there. Dylan Scott, did you get a chance to go check him out, raising money there for athletics?
I did. My wife and I, my aunt, we went last night. I was really impressed, especially when he brought his son out, Beckett, on stage and let him sing the song "My Boys." That was really cool. That was a wow moment for sure. He was impressive. He really bragged on Monroe and growing up here. So, what an incredible night.
Don't let him fool you. He's from Bastrop. But Coach, what do those moments kind of mean where a guy like that can kind of come back to the community, and then what's it mean for the university to kind of leverage, the homegrown talent to raise the money and bring awareness to the programs?
Well, the biggest and neatest thing to me is just the opportunity, the humbleness, the servant leadership for him to come back. You could tell his speeches that he gave in between songs, what this place meant to him. Obviously, he's written some songs that shows his respect to this town and this area and the people of Northeast Louisiana. So that's first and foremost. Second, I think it's a shared vision for Monroe, for ULM to be successful and continue to grow. I feel like he bought into the vision of the powers to be that shared that vision with him to come back and help us grow forward, if you will. So that speaks volumes to his character. And there again, I just think, him paying the tradition, the respect that this place deserves. And like I said, for a guy that's not from here, the coolest thing I've realized since I've been here in my short time is, number one, these people up here, they love this area. They love the state. They love this area. Man, I love to hunt. I hope I get a chance to go hunting. I know I got a bad sport in terms of just being hunting season and basketball rolls in together.
Worst sport, I think.
Yeah, worse, no doubt, no doubt. But these are my kind of people, and I mean this. I mean, this is my kind of people, and this place is special, man, and it's the people that make it special, the Bayou. But I can't say enough about it. I really can't. I was just blown away.
Coach, 3 games this week. We look forward to seeing what happens on the Bayou this week before you hit the road. Coming to my neck of the woods there, Chase. I'm going to go up to Huntsville and check them out next week against CM Houston, but we got 3 games until then. Coach, can't thank you enough for breaking away and talking with us and giving us the insight of the secret sauce there that Chase is trying to steal from you.
Well, I did leave a few things out, but I'll share with you guys off the air. But no, listen, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You guys have been good as gold to me from day one. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's a true honor, and I mean that. And I'm very appreciative and thankful for this opportunity. It's an honor to be called y'all's coach, for the girls to call me coach, and to serve this great community. And I hope each and every day I'm making y'all proud, regardless of the scoreboard. I just hope we're able to create that fan interaction, that student engagement, and to make memories that will last a lifetime. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you guys, man. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Praise the Lord. Go Warhawks. Keep doing what you're doing, baby. Love you.
Chase, I mean, I love BV, but there's just something about Scotty.
Well, you 2 completely different styles of people. You can tell, obviously, different personalities. BV, but you both want to you want to run through a brick wall for both of them,
without a doubt.
Just a character, man. Love that he's on the Bayou.
Speaking of football, man, we 3/4 of the way through the season, Chase. We're at 6 losses.
We had a great win this week.
Oh, against the bye?
Yeah, you gotta love a good bye win, Tibbs. I'm telling you.
Everyone on Warhawk Report was like, finally we're favored in a game, 10-point favorites over the bye. Dude, there were some years where I thought the bye had us.
I've seen that. I've probably been a part of one of them, to be honest.
Sitting with 3 games left to go in the season.
Yeah.
What does this team have to do to try to get that next win and pick up that 4th win? And really kind of at this point, you're more trying to keep that 7th loss at bay than you are trying to get the wins. And I know everyone's going to say that makes no sense, but you're really kind of battling of don't lose the next game, because then it's definitely over with and there's no more goals for the season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're still playing for something, right? And I think that it's best case scenario in the sense you've got a team in a worse spot than you are.
Yeah, because they're already
And-
done. But they're also the wounded animal in South Alabama with 7 losses already. They have nothing to lose.
I 100% agree. They still suck. And so what I mean is that ULM has that opportunity to play a team that might be beaten down. And I understand you got nothing to lose. You still got some games. But, to me, that really – and I've been in that situation – that really doesn't matter until like the last game or two. If you're playing somebody that's got 7 wins, if you're playing somebody that's got 5 wins, that's when it really matters. I don't think that will matter as much to South Al this weekend. But, if I'm ULM, I've got to just buckle down, get healthy, and try to use this game as kind of that final push of a building block. At this point, your team's not going to get crazy different than what they are, but we still need to put the ball in the end zone more. And if we can do that through the air, not as our main way, we still need to run the ball because that's who we are. But if we can kind of get Aiden some confidence there, you never know what could happen these last 3 games or the 2 after.
Yeah, and I think that this bye week is exactly what was neid because Absolutely. I think this team was mentally and physically just beat up, beat down. And I really hope that this was their chance to kind of reset, recollect, and get ready to go through this last fourth of the season. It's crazy to me that we're 75% through the season, Chase. I mean, it feels like it just began.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's because we've been playing these 2:30 games, and I'm able to drive home. You don't drive home, but yeah, it's weird to be this far through it. It's been, it's been really some decent football for every now and then hasn't been bad, or hadn't been great. But yeah, it's wild to think that we're down to nut cutting time, as they say, Tibbs.
I thought about that. I actually thought when I was trying to prepare for this episode, all I kept hearing in the back of my head was Howard Snellenberger when he was in the league at FAU. And that was one of his favorite terms was it's nut cutting time, boys. It's nut cutting time.
Yeah, I don't know what it means, but I like the. Does it have to do with squirrels?
I don't know. Probably bulls, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would make more sense. But yeah, it's that time of year, man. You've got a lot of talk at the beginning of the season. I think a lot of hype. And we're 2 that probably reinforce that hype, but I think you've got to see, some of those things have to come to fruition. Otherwise, heading into BV's 3rd year, he's kind of got to pivot on some things here.
So I'll say it for you. I think the low light of this first 3/4 of the season, the Bama game. I mean, without a doubt, it didn't feel like a fair fight. It didn't feel like we wanted to be there. It didn't feel like we were going to be able to really do anything that was really meaningful in that game. But on the flip side of that, what has been your highlight so far through the season?
Yeah, you're so right about Bama. It was a tough. I mean, that's an ass whooping any way you cut it. They had 11 drives. They scored all 11 and 10 touchdowns, and you have like 3 first downs, and so yeah, it's tough, and it will really set you up for failure for the rest of the year if you let it. And I think they kind of let that drag a little bit. I think when I look back on some wins this year, I really love the way that I don't think Aiden has the stats that he wants this year, but he did feel like he took half a step forward from last year. I think we all wanted him to leap, and he did take a step forward. And I saw him progress a lot. And obviously, anytime you beat a 15 or 16-year streak against Arkansas State was really a great I think you really saw flashes of potential in that game, who this team could be. And it seems like at that point, I thought they could be a team that put away bad teams. And, since then, you've had some of those guys leave our games. Some of those teams leave our games and are still having success. And so it's the best part about it has been watching this offense continue continue to evolve and kind of fix itself in a way. And I know that they're not good. I mean, you can say that statistically and you can say that all that, but they're better than I think what we saw there at Bama.
No doubt. For me, the big highlight game was UTEP. You go on the road and get that non-conference win. It was huge to get that. And then also to not buy into the hype, right? There was all the talk going into that game of the 4-star Malachi Nelson and how he was going to have his coming out party against ULM and everything. It just didn't happen. Now, I do feel that they didn't play a full, complete 4-quarter game. They played 3 quarters and held on for dear life for that win, but it was still a win and on the road.
Yeah. I think, to flip your question, what's concerned me recently has been penalties and turnovers. And I think when they happen in stacks like they have, they've just kind of took us out of games, especially when we finally get some momentum or something going for us. And I think those things, and I don't want to look forward to next year yet because we still got something to play for here. That, you can fix that this year, and you can try to buckle down on those penalties and try to figure out how to limit those, how to stop hurting yourself. I think that's been my biggest frustration, is this team has really hurt itself a lot this year.
Well, the good news is that the bye is over. It's 3 straight weeks of football there, Chase, and 3 straight weeks that we get to see each other.
3 straight weeks. You and I holding hands on the sidelines. I'm excited.
Nobody take pictures, please.
You won't even be on the sidelines. It's going to be so cold.
I'll be on the sidelines.
You're right. You do come and join me at some point.
What do you think, though, about this week around the Sun Belt and really around college football? Everybody wanted some of them hands, whether it was Grambling and Bethune-Cookman, Texas State, Louisiana Lafayette. Everybody was just throwing the haymakers.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like it was really a great week. I mean, we didn't play a night game though. Sunbelt didn't have a night game, which was odd.
Yeah,
am I wrong by that?
Texas State, Lafayette.
Yeah, but that started at what?
Like 4.
Like exactly. We didn't really have a night game, but what a good game. Texas State was beating the crap out of them at one point. I'm so sorry. Lafayette was beating the crap out of them. Texas State really made that a game. I feel bad for Georgia State. Be good for Coastal for winning that 6th, but man, Georgia State's those were really nice guys when we talked to them.
Oh yeah, they were fantastic.
I bet they're going through it right now. One win is tough. And how about Arkansas State keeping Southern Miss close? I think Arkansas State's a better team. What people gave them credit for it after that L they held from us.
No doubt. And I think that Southern Miss, they are within 1 game of clinching the West. I mean, it also is if somebody loses and this and that, but for the most part, it's going to be Southern Miss and probably JMU on the eastern side.
And JMU just looks. I mean, I know they kind of. I had 2 phone calls saying JMU messed it up. They're not going to the playoffs. And then I looked at the score. I was like, they won 35-23. What did they mess up? I didn't watch the game. Did you watch it, Tibbs?
No.
I was about to say, could you tell me what they messed up? Anyways, they're rolling, ranked 24th, right? It's a ranked ball club.
In the coaches' poll.
AP. Oh, is that coaches or AP?
Well, we'll find out because later this week, we have Craig Stevenson of Alabama Live. He's an AP voter, so we get the insight of how to pick the AP, and we'll preview South Alabama on that, Chase.
Sounds good.
Any stories you have over the past week?
I tell you what, Tibbs, it was a interesting week personally. The greatest thing I got to do, and this was so nice here during football season, is I got to mow my yard. That's all I got for you. I love mowing my yard. Thank God I was able to just get out there and get that hopefully last fall cut in.
Outsourced, baby.
What about you? You got any stories? Tell me something good on the bye week.
Friday night, I really did. I watched women's basketball, watched soccer Saturday night, and, couldn't be prouder of women's soccer. I know that there's a lot of people that are kind of pissed that there was no administration in Foley for that game.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, as we talked about with Scotty, there was the, whatever you want to call it, the fundraiser there with Dylan Scott raising money for athletics. There was also the Miss ULM. So President Carrie Castile was at home for that. There was nobody there in case we did win.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's kind of how it goes. We don't own a private plane where you can just, you know, some of these big schools just fly in and out, and it's tough. I mean, it's hard, but super proud of how far they've come. They've really, soccer's had some really down years, and so it's cool to see them, you know, pull something like that out and make it to that championship game.
And now we just got to stand by and see if Skylar Bleav gets the nod to go somewhere into the professional ranks. Don't think she'll get drafted necessarily for the National Women's Soccer League here in the States. I think it'll be over in the European, but that'll be cool. As far as I know,
cool.
That might be our first women's professional soccer player.
Be very cool. She's a dog, dude.
She is. Until next time, Chase, we'll do it again then.
Always a pleasure, my friend.